Welcome, fans, to episode 113 of Rangers Ed, presented by Lucarelli Law. If you're in Florida and need a lawyer, call Lucarelli Law and tell them the boys at Rangers Ed sent you. This is your host, Cousin Ed. Got my co-host, Coach Ed, over there with the coolest game on earth plaque. What's up, Coach?
What's going on, fellas?
Did you get that at the Hall of Fame? I like that thing.
No, Eddie made that for me. I think it was for Father's Day or my birthday. It was one of the occasions.
One of these days.
Yeah.
I got a little
Straight from the workshop.
The workshop's looking good, man. I see it on Instagram. It's looking good. You guys got to follow Little Ed's workshop, man. He's got some good stuff going.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of that, we're going to have some Little Ed's workshop items for raffle at the tailgate we're going to talk about pretty soon. So a lot of work has been going into that for the Stadium Series tailgate. We got Sean and Stefen from Hockey Night in New York joining us in a little bit to talk about it. Sean's been helping us out a lot, putting together the tailgate, a little joint venture we got going on. And yeah, it's going to be a blast. So stay tuned for that promo. And if you want to join us, absolutely shoot us a message.
Yeah, looking forward to that and looking forward to talking with them in preparation of this weekend. It's going to be a big weekend, big rivalry weekend. It's going to be a lot of fun. Mikey Produces over there. What's up, Mikey?
Sorry, I was just getting a little H2O, but excited. I'm a little jealous I won't be there this weekend. A little FOMO, but I know you guys are going to have a blast, and fans, definitely go. Definitely go.
Well,
it's going to be a great
now
time.
You know how I feel.
Yeah.
Now you know how I feel.
So it's not too late, Mikey. Tickets are pretty cheap. Just throwing it out there.
I'm saying the Little Ed's workshop, though, I got to say, you know, I'm in Chicago. I wore the sneakers he made me with the Kovalev jersey from Oscar's Pro Stitch. And so outside the United Center, there's an Uber tent. So everyone just runs to the Uber tent because that's where the Ubers know where to pick you up. And they have like lanes and it takes an hour to get picked up. It's crazy. The guy who works there comes up to me and he's like, you know, I've been talking shit to all the Rangers fans all night with the Rangers jerseys, but I got to admit that jersey shoe combination is dope. So there you go.
I'll take it.
You gotta go Oscar's Pro Stitch, and you gotta go to Little Ed's workshop. Get those shoes, man. Doesn't matter. Everybody loves them, man. You could do any team too, right?
We're calling the LE ones, the Little Ed ones, like the Jordan ones.
No, but you know what? I see like the commercial on MSG where the guy actually like paints the logo on. So I don't like those.
It's a little over the top.
It's like muted. It matches.
Yeah.
It's nice. It's not like too loud, you know.
Yeah, I'd love to be able to get into like the airbrushing stuff one day, but I don't know.
My mom got me the Pegasus shoes, the running shoes for Christmas. New York Giants. The logo's on it. I mean, look, I like the shoes. Don't get me wrong, but I compared it just mentally, and I like the muted style of the shoes you make better, and you can really do it for any team.
Absolutely. I made actually they're playing the Calgary Flames as we speak right now. I made a Calgary Flames pair for a fan. I don't know, that was probably like 2 years ago at this point. So yeah, any team. I mean, if you like the baseball team or any other team, I could do that too. So for sure.
Yeah, not the Islanders or Devils though.
Yeah.
I'll
do anything. Trust me. I've made some pretty funky cornhole sets, and I've definitely made a few Islanders cornhole sets, which I will be making for the Stadium Series also.
So real quick, I'm leaving Chicago, and I'm in the airport. We're gonna need a new segment for this. All right, it's gonna be Cousin Ed's airport adventures. First, they took the snow globe from me. Right, so I'm in the airport, and I'm leaving, and they pull my bag. I was like, "What the hell's in my bag now?" Right. The guy goes through my bag and pulls these out.
Mini hockey sticks.
Mini hockey. And he goes, he's looking at him, and he's like, and I'm like, what's the matter? And he's like, technically, these are blunt weapons.
Oh my God.
I was like, what?
The mini hockey sticks fans, head over to YouTube to check out what he's talking about.
These are plastic. This is a blunt weapon. I'm like, dude, that's a souvenir. I'm like, come on, man. I went to the game. I got a couple souvenirs. Like, what are you going to take it away from me at the airport? He's like, hold on, let me get my supervisor. So I'm sitting there and feels like, I was going to say something. I was like, well, why didn't you say something? I'm going to just lose these souvenirs. So the supervisor comes by and he's like, He's like, I'm gonna let it go. Technically I can't, but I'm gonna let it go because we sell them in the airport anyway. I was like, what? He's like, yeah, there's a store that sells those in the airport. I was like,
So
okay,
yeah, what? Are you kidding me?
That's ridiculous.
Are
You're
you?
gonna
So he's
sell
gonna.
weapons, yeah.
Oh
Oh my
wild.
god! Sometimes
yeah,
I get the whole thing with those TSA people, but sometimes they get very carried away.
they sell them in the airport in the
Yeah,
terminal.
I mean, come on.
That's hilarious.
So then the guy tells me that all these people go to the Cubs games and the White Sox games and they leave with like
with
the
mini
bats,
baseball bats,
and they have to take the bats every time. They take the bats from people. He said we definitely can't let them take the bats, but this is like plastic. I'm like, what do you think the bats are? They're just like, I mean, they're a little
They probably
sturdier.
sell them at the airport too.
Yeah,
Yeah, but the bats are more like a little what do you call it? The nightsticks.
yeah.
I can see that.
They're
I
actually
can see
wood.
that.
But come
You
on,
can
it's a
bat
souvenir.
somebody in the. Yeah, but still, you never know.
That's how
You
we
can't let
get
your
you.
guard down. You can't let your guard down, Ed.
Yeah.
Coach, the national anthem though, my God, I literally,
told you.
I had tears in my eyes. It was really impressive.
When
And not
I
just that, but
listened to
the whole intro to the game, it was really like there's a whole thing about the city of Chicago is amazing, and then they brought these people out to talk about like the history of the Blackhawk name and the Native Americans in the area, and then another video on like military service, and then the guy comes out and everybody turns and looks at the actual flag while he's singing. I'm looking at the ice and I'm looking at the scoreboard while he's singing, and I realize everybody has their head up behind me. So I turn up and the flag's hanging there with the spotlight on it, and the guy's voice is booming. I was ready to get in the ice myself, man. It was like, it was good. It was really good.
When I listened to it last week and I sent it to you, I still get the chill just listening to it on YouTube. It's insane. That guy's amazing.
Yeah, he's really good, and it's really well done by Chicago. Honestly, I have to admit I agree with you now after episode 2 or 3 where you said that. And I was laughing at you, but honestly, like that's got to pump you up as a player to hear that, especially if you're American. Especially if you're American, right?
I don't know how it can't just even if you're not like an American, when he's singing like that, you have to appreciate it, and the crowd is just going crazy. So how do you not just drop the puck and just jump on everything?
Right.
It's
right. But imagine being like
the first shift.
Imagine being like Patty Kane, American boy, and you hear that, like that's got to just,
oh
really,
yeah.
like. So I agree. I mean, look, Brancy's really good, but he wasn't as good as that guy. That guy was incredible. I mean,
no, that's nothing.
But he's developing. Brancy's developing. This is like his second year. He's got the voice. He can be
the
that
problem.
guy.
Yeah, the problem is with Brancy is he's too busy otherwise. So I don't think he's ever going to be the every night guy. He's always I follow him on Instagram. He's always traveling, auditioning for other operas and putting on shows. So I don't think that's like his true path. He loves doing it. He's a big Rangers fan, but I don't think he's going to be available every night. So I don't think he'll ever get to that notoriety, So this guy's been doing it for how many years now? And he does it
What's his
game.
name? We should shout.
And I think he also does it. Doesn't he also do it for the other Chicago sports teams as well? So like this is his job. He's just the national anthem guy.
I'm pretty sure he does it for the Bears and the Bulls.
The Bears.
Yeah.
The Bears. Jim Cornelison. Jim Cornelison.
Yeah.
Speaking of national anthem, Coach, I heard Rihanna and my sisters are going to sing at one of your games. Is that true?
Yeah, this Friday.
She's supposed to next Friday night. It's senior night. It's our final game of the season. And she's supposed to do a little live version. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, shout out to the Seawolves. We're making a nice push towards playoffs and nationals. So keep playing hard, boys.
Hopefully she could pump up the team just like this guy did in Chicago.
Yeah. No, it should be great. It should be awesome.
So you guys are pushing towards nationals. How does that work again with the playoffs? Remind me.
Well, it's like kind of like a ranking system. So right now, I think we're 4th or 5th in the nation. So it really depends on your strength of schedule and who you beat. And we play we're technically D3, so we play some D2 teams. So you get more points by beating them. Honestly, it's a very complicated system. We just wait for the rankings to come out, and listen to the team president to tell us what our position is.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
It's a very complicated, but no.
I mean,
playoffs
it's like
Doing
next
your thing,
weekend.
Gene. Keep doing
Yeah.
your thing, Gene.
Yeah, but
it's
you
kind
guys-
of like
you guys-
it's kind of like college football. You don't know how those rankings work. You know, it's all bullshit.
Yeah.
You guys got a lot going on. You got the Learn to Skate program that's doing well too, and you guys should sign up for that if you got little kids that want to learn to skate. Coach Ed and little Ed will be out there helping. How's that going?
Yeah. Every Sunday morning, it's going really well. The kids are progressing a lot faster than I thought they would. I'm not going to lie. The weather has been a lot better than it was in the beginning. So in the beginning, it was a little brutal. I mean, if I was 2 or 3 years old, I probably wouldn't want to be out in the 20-degree weather trying to learn how to skate either. But yeah, shout out to Landon, Jackson, Luca, Daniela, Braden, and Liam for this past Sunday's skate. They did very well. So keep up the hard work, guys. And we're going to have to miss this weekend because of the stadium series, but we'll be back the weekend after, Sunday mornings.
Awesome stuff. I can't wait for the stadium series, man. I can't wait. I haven't been to an outdoor game in like 10 years.
Yeah, it's going to be a
So,
blast. But we'll
it's gonna
talk
be-
about that with hockey night.
It's going to be a lot of fun. All right, let's jump into it. Let's get into Jersey Profiles, sponsored by Oscar's Pro Stitch Hockey.
Our buddy Oscar, a huge Rangers fan himself, started his company by stitching his own blue shirts. Once he perfected his craft and started to fall in love with his work, the man started to grow. Oscar stitches every jersey with love and dedication to authenticity, which never disappoints. His talent is hard to find in any store out there. Are you like Cousin Ed? You have a lingering jersey curse that every player he gets a jersey of gets traded or injured and hurts the Rangers team? You want to change things up? You want to take an Eric Lindros jersey and make it a vintage Ken Hodge jersey in the late 70s? Got an old jersey collecting dust in your closet? Want to throw your name on the back and add a nice number of one of your favorite players? You can bring it back to life with a brand new kit at Oscar's Pro Stitch. So head on over to Oscar's Instagram at Oscars PSH. That's OSCARS PSH to check out the countless tarps he's already done and to place the order for his next one that possibly can post on Instagram and get ready to wear it to the next Ranger game or any event that you have coming up. Tell them the boys from Rangers Ed sent you and receive a special discount at Oscar's Pro Stitch Hockey. Go get them, Rangers.
All right, number 13 for episode 113. We went with Sergei Nemchinov with the Rangers, 418 games, 105 goals, 120 assists, 225 points, plus 55. He was one of the first Russians to have his name engraved on the Stanley Cup in 94. That group of Russians were the first Russians: Kovalev, Karpatsev, Zubov, and Nemchinov. He was drafted in round 12 of the 1990 draft, back when there were more than 7 rounds. And he's only one of 12 guys to play for the Rangers, Islanders, and Devils, which I thought was interesting. So Sergei Nemchinov, a pretty good player, coach. He was a 28-year-old rookie with the Rangers, which I thought was weird. So back then, were Russians just drafted at like 27 years old or something? How did that work?
I mean, again, you know, I've only paid attention to the draft pretty much in the last few years when we've been involved, but he was just a prototypical solid two-way player, strong legs, just a perfect third, fourth line center when you needed to trust someone out there to cover someone. And back then, used to shadow guys, so he was relied a lot on to do that. And just a great, strong player, you know.
So
It can sound like Joe Micheletti, but just a strong player.
So like a Tarasenko type or I don't know.
No.
I would say a Tarasenko type, but not a goal scoring type.
Oh, gotcha.
Penalty killer.
Two-way guy, like third, fourth liner, right?
Yeah. Back then, in the 80s and 90s, you didn't really have your top 6 guys killing penalties like they do today a lot.
Yeah.
You know, it was just you had penalty killers, which were third, fourth line players, and that's it, pretty much.
Yeah, I was reading that he was almost like the last pick of that draft, and was he the first Russian-born player to play for the Rangers?
Yeah, I think so.
I saw that on the Hockey Hall of Fame website, thelegendsofhockey.net. So
yeah, 1990 draft pick. drafted at 26 years old out of Russia. I guess I don't know how it worked. I don't know if he defected. Honestly, I tried to look that up. I don't know if they were defecting at that time, but came over at 26 years old, made his debut with the Rangers in 91, 92. He scored 30 goals that year, but after that, kind of settled into a third, fourth line role, and obviously was instrumental the year they won the Cup. 22 goals, 27 assists that year. Pretty good year.
Well, this says
I don't know if
McGillney
they
was
would.
the.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Ed.
This just says McGillney was the first one to do it in 1988. So I can't imagine the situation was that much better in 1990. But I don't know if he technically defected or not.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
I remember the famous Mogilny story, but I think after that they started like just sending boatloads of cash over there. It was like a black market situation.
For players.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
McGillney
you
was
watch
actually
that
drafted
document-
in '88, but he went over in 89. He actually defected in '89. So yeah, and
Yeah, you
was
watch-
probably involved.
Yeah, they were drafted in a way, but they weren't allowed to come here, so it was like a gamble.
Yeah.
That's why when Detroit drafted Fedorov, it was a big gamble too.
It's probably not. I would say it's not nearly as heated as it is now, but it's a similar situation. I mean, teams are, or at least the last couple of years, they've been a little hesitant to draft Russian players, but starting to get better now, right? Cuz they're kind of taking the chance now.
Yeah, definitely. It's much different for Russian players these days. The difference is now,
But
I feel like
when the whole Ukraine situation first happened, there was like one or two drafts where NHL teams were staying away completely.
well, they were worried that Russia was going to, lock down the country, not let players
Right.
leave because they were needed for military service and things like that. They did mess with, to put it lightly, some prospects who were still playing in Russia. At goalie for Philly, I forgot his name. They sent him to some camp in Siberia. I haven't heard from him since. I don't know what the latest from him, but he was got in trouble for not being in the military when he was drafted or something like that. So it's, Russia's always a difficult country to draft guys in. Those guys fall in the draft. First of all, you don't know if they're going to want to come over. There's money to be made there, right? So for a lot of guys who are really good, they could play there, stay home and make a few mil and, be superstars in Russia. And they're fine with that. They don't want to come to the NHL. And then other guys, want to challenge themselves and go to the NHL. Because look, it's undisputed. The NHL is the best league in the world. So they want to do that, right? Guys like Ovechkin, Malkin, they came right over. There was no issue. But it's just a different thing. But there's still that cloud of uncertainty around drafting players from Russia. You saw this draft with the kid from Philly. My memory's escaping me. It's been a long day. What's his name? Mikhail Maltsev or something? Can't remember his name. Mikey, look up who the Flyers drafted, what his name is. It's out of my brain. But Nemchinov was a good Ranger. He did sign as a free agent with the Islanders after playing with the Rangers. So I don't know about that move. And then he also played for the Devil. He also played for the Devils too. I didn't know that. I saw that and I was like, wow, he played for all three teams. So that prompted me to look it up. How many guys have actually played for?
I guess
it's
he didn't want to give.
Matvei Michkov is the guy's name.
I guess he didn't want to give up his house in Brighton Beach, so he just played for the Metro teams.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, but you laugh, but that was a big part of the community back then.
Yeah,
that was
for sure.
them
Still
coming
is.
here away from home.
Still is.
But I'm saying that we talk about their coming into a foreign country and having to settle in. That was an automatic, so they already had a community. Now, I don't think many other cities have a community like that back then, especially. But Nemchinov, I believe he won a cup with the Devils as well.
Yeah, he did. 2000. Yes.
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting. All right, 2 cups for Sergey. That's good. All right. Prior to the last episode, the Rangers were 31-16-3. They are 2-0-0 since that. 33-16-3 now, 69 points, first in the Metro, 5th in the NHL. They beat the Lightning on Wednesday. Jimmy Vesey, 2 goals, including an empty netter to seal it. Johnny Brodzinski with the game winner in that one. Jonathan Quick beat Andrei Vasilevsky. And then in Chicago, a 4-3 overtime win. They blew a 3-1 lead in the third period. but pulled it out in overtime. Zibanejad with the game-winning goal. Also, the Rangers called up Adam Edstrom back from injury and Matt Rempe, 2 big forwards, and sent down Jake Lecision. Laviolette says the Rangers have some things going on in the room. We don't know more than that, so we'll talk about that in a minute. But let's start with the Lightning game. Jonathan Quick beats Vasilevsky, and the third and fourth line contribute the goals in that game. What more can we say about Jonathan Quick? I mean, wow. That was a great performance. I know I looked at the numbers after the game, and he only had 17 saves because the Lightning only had 18 shots. But I feel like, the Lightning came on heavy in the third period. And he just, he gave up that one goal as a good shot from the slot by Hagel. It happens, but he shut the door otherwise and really closed it down. I mean, how much of this is Jonathan Quick and how much of this is the Rangers playing lockdown in front of him, or coach, do you see them not playing lockdown in front of him? I mean, I don't know. I'm just so impressed with Quick. I don't know what to say, honestly.
I mean, you already know my feeling about that. I think the big thing in that game was I don't believe they had Tampa had a power play till the end of the game.
That's true.
That's just a well-managed game by the Rangers, and you don't want to give Stamkos and Kucherov too many chances and Hedman on the point and so on. So I think that was a big part of it. I'm not taking away from Quick. You go against Vasilevsky, 3-1's a big win. They held them off at the end too, 2-1. It was a shot away from tying it. So I think that was a big part of it. I think it's a combination of both. Quick was there when they needed him.
Well, I look at it.
A couple of big saves.
Little Ed, I look at it and I see, look at the Lightning game, look at the line score. The Lightning had 18 shots. The Rangers blocked 22.
Wow.
That's 40 shot attempts. And then against Chicago, they gave up 31 shots with Igor in net. And they had 15 blocks, which is still a lot. Less block shots. And now 31 on Igor. So is there, is this something the Rangers are playing better in front of Quick defensively, or are they not? Or I mean, I don't want to make excuses for Igor, but I'm just trying to figure this out, because Quick is just on a tear right now. Or let me phrase it this way: if the team is playing better in front of Quick, and it's not all Quick, isn't that still a reason to play him?
Yeah, I think the team looks a lot more confident in front of him. It's hard to compare these two games, though, because, in typical Rangers fashion, they always show up against a better team, especially the Lightning. I think they just have like a rivalry with them, and they kind of have the Lightning's number in the last couple of years. Yeah, except for, I guess, the playoff series. But either way, the Blackhawks, they didn't really show up to. One of the announcers said that the Tampa game, that Tampa didn't really have their best stuff. I don't really buy that. I think the Rangers just played really well, and they blocked a lot of shots. Look, Tampa would have put up 40 shots if it wasn't for all those blocks. So you can't really say that Tampa didn't have their best stuff with all those shot attempts. Like I said, it's hard.
All game.
Yeah, it's hard to compare these two games because, I'd like to see I'd like to go back and maybe see the numbers between the Avalanche and the Ranger game. But that's both with Quick and net. But in terms of block shots and stuff like that, the team just didn't look good against the Blackhawks. Like plain and simple. Whether that has to do with Igor or not, I'm not really sure. But in this stretch or whatever, or just this season in general, I think the team just looks a lot more confident with Quick and net. And I don't know why that's like turning into more block shots or whatever, but I think they're just like playing harder, and I'm not sure. I don't know what it is. It's hard to say. It's a weird situation. You would think they would want to play harder to snap Igor out of it. But I don't
know if they didn't play hard. I think it's a matter of, forever the Rangers just lacked that killer instinct. They had those nice goals in the first period. That game should have been far and away a blowout.
Yeah. And
they just kind of like say, "Oh, this is going too easy," and then they just, you know how it is coaching those games. It's like, guys, keep your habits in check. Stop trying to do the fancy crap.
Play the right way.
Our game, and that's the hard part when you're coaching a game like that. They should have blew that team away.
Frustrating, right? So they give up the goal early. Igor probably should have had that goal, but then they respond with 2 goals. They outshot the Blackhawks 12-8 in the first and 17-11 in the second. They were outshot in the third 12-3. That just goes to, I mean, that's not a good killer instinct, right? Valakat, I think, said it in the post game. I watched it when I got back to the hotel. This team just got to have a killer instinct. I mean, this is a bottom of the barrel team. You're up 3-1. There's 6.5 minutes to go. And you give up a goal, net front presence, Nick Foligno, right? And then another one, net front presence, Jason Dickinson, right? So
very two soft goals.
Not good. Not really Igor's fault, to be honest with you, on either goal.
No,
but
I mean, I don't know. It kind of contradicting myself a little bit, but like the confidence should be there enough to be able to just slam the door or shut the door on the Blackhawks. But then at the same time, they're playing too confident and think that they have that game won with 6 minutes left. You know what I mean? Yep. So it's hard.
Well, there's a fine line between confidence and arrogance,
overconfident, or that too. Right? Yeah, overconfidence.
So that's a fine line that I think, when I was a young law student, one of my professors told me that, like always walk the line between confidence and arrogance as a lawyer. Don't be arrogant, but you need to have confidence or you're not gonna succeed. And I feel like that applies to everything. It doesn't just apply
great advice. Same thing with what I go through every day with being an engineer. You got to know what you're talking about, but you can't talk down to people and, deal with the contractors different ways and stuff. It's frustrating at times, but it's very good advice.
Yeah, and that applies, I think, to that game. I mean, it's a little – look, I don't want to say they're arrogant, but, it's 3-1. The Blackhawks are terrible. No Bedard. They're riding that game out. They're outshot 12-3. They should not be outshot 12-3 in the third period.
I mean, I think it's also a combination, like you're saying, the arrogance that these guys are in first place. They're all pretty comfortable on the team as far as being a position on the team. And the Blackhawks players, probably 15 or 16 of them are fighting for a career. So they're going to play hard every shift.
For a contract.
They don't need, for a contract. They don't need that motivation as much. And again, like I've said in the past, that's mental between the ears is the key to everything. The talent's there. It's the guys who can push themselves on every shift like it's their last shift, the cliche. And that's got to happen.
Speaking of,
you got to get
go.
No, that's got to happen. That's got to be your mindset. And that's how you get that killer instinct. Like you're not getting near the net. We're winning 3-1. You're not getting near the net. It's just got to happen.
Especially when Igor's trying to get his confidence back. Why you can't even give them a chance. You got to, let him see the puck. Give him every chance to see the puck clearly. Clear the front of the net. We're going to talk about that in Coach's Corner getting released later on this week. So that's what Coach Ed is trying to say. Like situations like that, you got to knuckle down. You got to know the situation. And where the team is. And obviously the biggest buzz going around the team is Igor's lack of, being able to perform. So why wouldn't you give him the best chance to perform? So
I mean, it's like
I agree.
It's like you said. It's like you said.
Real quick, Coach,
it's like you said before. I hate to cut you off, but I go over and over.
Mike.
Well, you have to be. I'll get my D into practice. I mean, I think that's why Laviolette was frustrated in the post game. I'll be like, start having a deny everything attitude now in practice. Yep. And that's why Laviolette's trying to create that competitive nature in practice. So that's your mindset no matter what. Don't just wave your stick at a puck. Don't just get the mindset every game. I mean, I know it's hard for 82 games, but not everybody doing it, taking off. Maybe one guy has a lapse, two guys, but they just gave up. You said the shots on goal. Look at the shots on goal. How do you outshoot them 4-1 in the first two periods and then not even do anything in the third?
Yeah, it's insane. I think what I was going to say before, Coach, you mentioned everybody's a little comfortable on the team. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the Brodzinski, Cooley, Kakko line. So I feel like that is probably the one line where maybe those three guys aren't fully comfortable on the team. But real quick, before we do that, Little Ed mentioned Coach's Corner being dropped later this week. So this week we're going to drop Coach's Corner on YouTube exclusively. So check it out on YouTube. We're going to drop it on Wednesday. It's going to be a quick clip. Make sure you go on there, subscribe, rate and review Coach's Corner. It's really an important Coach's Corner because it's going to talk about how to really, clear the crease and the importance of that, especially come playoff time. So we're going to focus in on a couple of plays and really nail that down for you guys. So check it out on YouTube.
Mikey, how many subscribers we got right now, approximately?
Not enough.
We are at least 45. I was going to look at the real number.
Yeah, not enough. So fans out there, head on over to YouTube, click that subscribe button because we got a decent amount of views, but not a decent amount of subscribers. So we need to get those subscribers up. So we're going to run a little giveaway. We just ordered the heat transfer for some T-shirts finally, so we might have some merch coming out. So when we reach 100 subscribers on YouTube, we'll run a random giveaway for a T-shirt. So you'll get a T-shirt and some stickers.
Make it 130. We're at 118.
You're 100 subscribers off. Okay, so we're at 118.
So pretty much our producer doesn't know what's going on. That's the answer.
Yeah. So we're at 118.
45.
No, we're gonna make that number 150, and we're gonna go with a T-shirt. We're gonna go with a T-shirt, some Rangers Ed coasters, and some Rangers Ed stickers. And if I'm feeling good, I might even throw a koozie in there for you guys. So let's get up to 150 subscribers for our first YouTube giveaway.
We have at least 3 subscribers. Me, Mike, and Little Ed. I know that for a fact. We have at least 3 subscribers. Coach Ed is not subscribed. The 3 of us are subscribed.
Yeah. But there's a lot of content over there, guys. A lot of funny stuff, a lot of good clips.
Right, so
so
if I subscribe, am I in for the free
You're in
giveaway?
for the raffle. Yeah, you're in for the raffle.
He's still a loser.
Or
All right,
I could just I could go to your apartment and just take it.
Yeah,
you could do that too.
You could just rob the workshop over here.
Brodzinski, Cooley, and Kakko. So I want to talk about this. So look, one of the focuses the Rangers at the trade deadline is getting a third line center. We've been talking about this. Do they need an Adam Henrique type or someone like that, or Nick Dowd, someone to fill in that third line? And here we go, 2 games, 2 wins. Johnny Brodzinski, 2 goals, including a game winner. Will Cooley, a rookie. A lot of fans are talking about, is he better suited on the fourth line? The Rangers will have that much more depth. If they have Cooley on the fourth line, that means that they have depth. And if someone gets hurt, he can move up easily. And then Kakko obviously is rumored to be traded for everybody, especially former Rangers. In the last week, I've seen proposals trading Kakko for Buchnevich, Vetrano, Zuccarello. They literally just name a Ranger, former Ranger, and Kakko is rumored to be traded for him. And then I saw this hilarious tweet under it, and it said, "Can't wait in 2 years to trade Othman for Kakko." Right, so we're going to trade Kakko for Vetrano, and then in 2 years, Othman will be struggling, and we'll trade him for Kakko and get him back. And I thought that was funny. I don't remember who said it, but shout out to that kid. That was funny. So I just want to ask: are these guys really comfortable, Coach? I mean, Brodzinski, Cooley, Kakko. Do you think those guys are comfortable?
Well, I didn't say the whole team. I'm just saying in general. Those guys happen to those guys happen to be the few guys that play hard that I feel every game, and they are fighting for their career.
Yeah, I saw the buzzing in Chicago. I thought that line was buzzing.
Yeah. So I'm not taking anything away from them. I don't remember who was on the ice for the 2 goals at the end, to be honest with you. But I have no problem with them because they don't stop. But you got to come up. Your big guys have to come up big in those games, and they have to be the ones leading the locker room, saying, "Guys, let's keep the foot on the pedal." That's where it's got to come from. That's it. That's the bottom line. They have to lead by example, not just say it.
Yeah, I agree. And speaking of that line, I don't know if I'm spoiling this for anyone, but second period, we're in the second intermission against the Flames. Rangers are up 1-0. Will Cooley, assisted by Kakko and Johnny Brodzinski. So again, they must be playing well, right? They at least that one shift. So
I don't see anything wrong with.
Thanks for spoiling it for me.
I like that line. I
don't see anything wrong with it
as the 3C.
Why not? Every time he gets called up, every time he gets called up, he does something, and we always say, "Oh, he's just going to get called back because he's the captain, and that's more important." let the kid. Well, he's not a kid. Coach Ed corrected me last time. He's not a kid. He's also like 27. So like,
Oh, he's 30.
He's 30 now. Okay, so he
He's
should
30
be an
years
established NHL player. I got corrected again on my boy. So he's 30 years old. He should be an established NHL player. So why do people just put a label on him that he's an AHL career guy or whatever? Like that's it, like a glass ceiling type player. Like he's doing great. I mean, just because it's not a big name, Johnny Brzezinski or Philip Hedl, a prospect that they brought up, whatever. Like he's doing phenomenal, and obviously it's clicking. He played with Cooley down at Hartford, and they had a long playoff run last season. So what's the problem? I'm seeing too much online that it's unacceptable for a third line. They're playing phenomenal right now.
That's their least of their problems, in my opinion. Their third and fourth line, I think they're fine. I mean, if they do get an opportunity to get a third line center that's better than Brodzinski, that's worth it without giving up the assets like you keep talking about, something that's legitimate, not giving away the store, then I would say go for it. But other than that, I think it's their big names that have to come through, just like in the playoffs last year. They were quiet.
Yeah.
They need to be shaken up.
That's the thing that fans keep talking about, all these big names. The Rangers don't need big names. They already have the big names. They have the big names. The big names need to produce. What they need is depth. So if you're going to bring in a third line center and push Brodzinski to a 4C or a 13th forward, I'm okay with that. That's fine. But you don't trade a first round pick for that or a top prospect. You're in the bargain bin trying to do that. They don't need to go get a top player every single year. I mean, they just don't. They have the horses. They just need the depth.
And one of the Rangers' biggest issues is going to the net and fighting for loose pucks and going into the dirty areas, and that's all that line does.
Yeah, I like the line. I think it's been good. It's been good.
To me, the biggest problem the Rangers have is the Zibby line, 5-on-5. I mean, obviously their power play has been a little light in the last few games, but 5-on-5, that line's got to do more. Panarin, Trocheck, and Laffy are buzzing. It's everybody but that line, and I hate to put it all on that, but if they play better 5-on-5, it takes a lot of pressure off of everybody else.
Absolutely.
You know what I'll say about that, because I've been super critical of that line, and that's not going to change. But what I will say is I was looking at some stats, and their 5-on-5 numbers are actually pretty good when you look at goals for, goals against, shot attempts versus shots against. So at least that line has not been giving up a lot either. So they haven't been producing what they need to offensively. But I will say at least they're not giving up, a lot of goals against or anything like that. So, I mean, Zibanejad plus 13, Kreider plus 16. That tells you right there that they're not giving up a lot, especially with their numbers off the power play being so low. Right? The 5-on-5 numbers of Zibanejad, unacceptable offensively. But his defense has been there. So
that's never been an argument, in my opinion. Like you said last episode, he's got to start putting pucks in the net. You guys were both saying it.
He put a puck in the net against Chicago in overtime. Hopefully that gets the monkey off his back, like Bushnevich would say.
Yeah.
But
3-1 win versus Tampa, 2 VC goals and 1 Brodzinski goal.
I love it. That's great. A playoff win. That's a playoff win right there. I love that. I love that. All right, let's bring on the boys from Hockey Night in New York. I think they're on, right? Let's bring them on. Let's talk a little Rangers Islanders and talk about the Stadium Series weekend. I'm excited for that.
Boys,
we got Sean Cuthbert, and Stefen Rosner. We got a big name here, Stefen Rosner. What's up, buddy?
No, stop. How are you guys?
His head's big enough ready, boys. How you guys doing? Thanks for having us.
Well, did you get a men's league win? Speaking of big heads, or what? No,
I don't want to talk about it. Lost in a minute and a half to go.
Oh man, we'll gloss over that one.
You must be watching too many Islander games.
Right now, I should be modeling myself after Shesterkin. I guess he's back.
Wow.
You got to be consistent, brother. I talked about it.
Yeah.
Not tonight, isn't he?
What'd you
What's
say?
that?
Is Shesterkin playing tonight?
Yeah,
Yes.
he's doing well so far. You got it
Yeah.
got it up in the background.
Don't even talk about the game, Stefen. I know what you're trying to do. Don't even.
Yeah, while this show's
don't-
happening.
Don't even talk about it. But anyway,
Pat,
so go ahead.
No, I was just about to say, if you guys missed it, we Coach Ed and myself were on Hockey Night in New York this past weekend, live in studio, and all that's released now on YouTube and everywhere you can find your podcast. So check out that episode. And yeah, great show over there. So we had a lot of fun, boys. Thank you for having us.
Oh, yeah, it was a
love that
blast.
studio.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
And as much as I hate to give Islander people a boost of confidence, it was a great job. Very exciting to be part of that live situation.
Appreciate that. Appreciate
Appreciate
that.
it.
Swallowing your pride a little bit there, Ed. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
That's it.
I
That's
do.
it.
I
That's
also,
some choke on his words.
Yeah.
I also
Coach a
love
little
the
bit more
edit.
confident when he's in his Ranger room. When he's not in your studio, he's in his Ranger
It
room
looks
now.
like
so he
his
talks
comfort
a lot
zone,
more.
that's for sure.
Also, I love the edit on the image of the episode too, because
Yeah,
the outline of
hilarious.
everyone. You gave little Ed elf ears. I don't know if that was intentional, but I love
No,
It
I
was
think
not,
those are just my ears. Those are
that-
just my ears.
The white border around his head didn't help.
Yeah.
I'll give you that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
so good. So good. All right. So look, I'm so excited for this weekend. I feel like the Rangers and Islanders don't play enough. Honestly, like it's ridiculous, man.
The whole
Like,
been
calendar
over-
year.
Yeah, calendar
what
year.
the hell? It's
Expansion.
insane. I mean,
And it's going to get worse.
no, but they got to change something up here where they're playing rivals more often in the regular season. Like, I know they want every team to play every other team, and I get the benefit of that. You know, Rangers fans want to see McDavid, yada, yada, yada. But
Sure.
it's just, I want to see the Islanders Rangers play, man. Like that's what I want to see. I don't know what you guys think about it, but I want to see more games between rivals, and maybe they can squeeze out some of these interconference games or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, maybe just do one home instead of one home, one and away or something like that with the Western Conference. But the fact that we said it on the show the other night, but the fact that they went the entire calendar year of 2023 without an Islander Ranger game is just madness.
Lane Lambert would call that a sin. But we were speaking a theme with
would.
Barzal today, and Barzal said there should be an outdoor game between the Raiders and Islanders every year.
Wow.
That's what he said.
He's
I didn't
been
say
talking-
that.
He's been
Central
talking a lot
Park.
of smack.
I get it, but like that would lose its luster pretty quickly. I like the
think-
fact that they're spread out. I mean, I could go less than a decade. It's been a decade for the Islanders now. I know the Rangers get an outdoor game every 2 or 3 years because of the Rangers, but it's been 10 years for the Isles, so it's nice to get back in there or out there, I should say.
Yeah.
You say that like the Rangers shouldn't get an outdoor game every 2 or 3 years.
Oh boy, the entitlement from Cousin Ed over there.
I'm just saying.
I mean, listen, I understand it. In Original Six, Manhattan, a lot of fans out there. I mean, you guys have been around for a century, so I get it. If the Islanders have been around for 100 years, maybe they'd get the same respect, but I get it.
It's also, who's a good team and stuff like that. You look at all the facts.
Sometimes. It depends on the decade.
I want to talk to you guys about the playoff picture. I feel like going into the weekend, it's going to be a big game for the Islanders. I was looking at the standings last night, actually. So I don't know. Whoever wants to take this, I'll throw it out there. You guys can decide. But the Islanders are 22-30. I mean, I know they have 12 overtime.
Well.
But they're
Man.
20.
The NHL
We
works.
really know where we are now, that's for sure.
They're 22-30, and they're 4 points out of the playoff spot there, and they seed. I mean, do they have to do something about the standings and change it? I read something about the PWHL does 3 points for a win, 2 for an overtime win, and 1 point for an overtime loss. Forget the Islanders. I know you're not going to let me talk smack, but any team, like you're 22-30, like I feel like there's a discrepancy. I don't know. That's just a thought. What are your thoughts on that?
I think 22-30 on the surface is a little. Listen, for me, shootouts are ties. You lose in a shootout, okay. Somebody has to get the point because they don't want ties anymore, right? So somebody gets the win. If you want to tell me the Islanders have lost 8 more games than they won because they lost however many of those in a shootout, sure. But again, as far as I'm concerned, it's a tie. But you mentioned the PWHL. I like what they're doing. I think the NHL loves the parity. They love the fact that all these teams are generally in it until close to the very end because tickets still sell. If you're in a playoff race, you still want to show up to the game, right? And I don't know if we'll ever see that in the NHL because they love the fact that they have these races where in years past, before they kind of changed up the point system, where you had teams that, the worst teams in the league, they were out of it. a few months in, and you had your, the cream rose to the top very quickly too. You'd have your top teams running away with it. They almost have nothing to play for in the last month or two. And the NHL doesn't want that. So I don't think we're going to see anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, I also want to see the number 1 seed play the correct team. I hate how they do it now in terms of the playoffs and the matchups. I hate it. But to your point, I mean, on the surface, they have a losing record. But again, that's not how the NHL works. These points that the Islanders got will probably get them into the playoffs, or they'll miss because they didn't get that second point. But I think the Islanders will make the playoffs, and it will come down to the amount of times that they won in they went to overtime and lost, or shootout and lost.
Yeah, I know it's not how the NHL works, but I'm saying they're 22-30.
Thanks for the clarity.
They're ahead of the Devils, for example, who are 25-25. Right.
Thank God.
That's how I'm looking at. But yeah, I'm happy. Look, I want the Devils out too, so I'm good with that. So you said you think the Islanders will get in, Stefen?
Yeah, I do. I just don't trust the Flyers. I mean, I keep not trusting the Flyers all year long, and they keep finding ways to say that they're still in it, but I do think they'll fall out.
I agree.
And I think it's easier for the Islanders to win the 3rd spot in the Metro than one of the wild card spots. So I think that's what they're going to have.
I think it's going to come down to the Islanders and Flyers. Do they play again before the end of the season?
I will check for you.
Probably. Steph,
I'm going to say Tortorella and Roy, knowing Tortorella's history, we're going to go at it in the alleyway of the when they leave the ice or something.
You never know. I'd love to see them in a playoff series together.
They play April 1st in Philly.
Could be big.
There you go. It could come down to that game.
How about if Carolina passes the Rangers and the Islanders sneak into that 3rd spot? We can get a Rangers-Islanders matchup in the first round.
I mean, let the hockey gods hear it and make it happen. Please. I would love that. Make it happen. Yeah. Make it so. Yeah.
I don't want to play Sorokin, man. Keep you guys out. Keep you guys out.
Nobody wants to face Sorokin. I think Islander fans want to face Shesterkin, but Quick probably starts the playoffs. Yeah, that discussion the other day.
Coming in hot.
Well, it's a different day now.
Well, not for nothing, but you've been poking the bear ever since we walked in here, Cousin Ed. So you were asking for it, pal.
Sorry, I had a couple of drinks before we started. So good.
Makes sense.
So, Stefen, what's been going on with you with the hockey news? How's that been going? I've been seeing you tweeting. You're getting a lot of responses. You're getting a lot of people following you and chirping you. How's it been going with the actual hockey news aspect?
It all goes right to my head. It's on my forehead, so big. But no, it's a blast. No, it's really not humbling, just like a special thing. It's been cool. Obviously, you put the work in, and seeing the support has been amazing. Appreciate you guys, appreciate everyone, because obviously I wouldn't be where I am without that. But it's been great. .com has been amazing. Hockey news has been great. Did a little bit of Ranger work, some Devil work, but it's been fun. I mean, it's a dream job. Just got to make dream money. I think I said that last time I was on the show. But we're getting there. We're getting there. So just keep striving.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. And I have to say, after meeting Steph in person, he looks older than 15 years old in person.
I look 16, right?
Congratulations, Stephen. You made it.
I mean, I'm poking the bear. Coach is coming in here.
Yeah.
Geez.
So
hopefully it pays off in the long run.
Well, I said to him in the first episode, we met him online, that he looked. I said, "What? How do you know all this? You don't look older than 15." So I'm giving him a compliment. He has the experience.
A backdoor compliment, we'll call that one.
Yeah, that was a backhand far down compliment there.
Well, take what you can get, Steph. That's how it goes. You got to work your way in.
Yeah.
Stephen came flying into the studio the other night straight from the Islander game. So that's
right.
That was pretty cool and very professional. But yeah, Coach had mentioned Patrick Waugh. I mean,
private jet.
That's probably the biggest. That's probably the biggest story floating around the Islanders right now. Sean, we'll go with you first. I mean, what are your general thoughts on the hire and how's it working out so far?
Like everybody else, I was shocked. Not on my radar. Had no idea it was coming. Stefan and I speculated for weeks when Lambert was struggling, just who, if they make a change, who are they going to bring in? And not once did Patrick Waugh come up. I don't even think it was in our subconscious. You know what I mean? So for that to happen, kind of, took Islander country by storm, took the hockey world by storm. And I think it didn't take very long for Islander fans to get excited about it. I was pretty jazzed about it. And just at the very least for the storyline, right? I mean, having, one of the best goaltenders to ever play the game, literally a living legend, step behind the bench and, kind of be a part of the Islanders organization right now. All of a sudden, Patrick Waugh and the New York Islanders will be tied together in hockey history, which I never thought was going to come. But all that is nice. But if you don't get results on the ice, it doesn't really matter, right? So I like what I'm seeing so far with him behind the bench. I think he was a needed burst of energy for this team. They were definitely in a lull under Lambert, and Stefen will tell you in a minute just how much passion and energy he brings to the ice, how much he brings to practice, and even behind the bench during the games. I mean, night and day difference between him and Lambert. And I know, Coach, you said the other night on our show that that's the sort of thing that could have a shelf life. But right now, the Islanders are bought in, fully, and they're looking to turn this thing around. And we're starting to see signs of it. They've definitely been playing better under Waugh. They're keeping the shots against down. They're bringing their own shots against shots for up. And hopefully, this change on the fly is going to work in time to get them into the playoffs.
Yeah,
Steph, before you go, I got a question for you. You're in the locker room and you've talked to Lamarillo and stuff, correct?
Yeah.
Nothing. There was no inkling of anything going on. Now that you're saying it, no, I'm just saying you didn't hear any buzzing, rumors, nothing, like talking to other reporters.
Yeah, we heard other names, not Waugh. We heard that
okay.
it was close.
So,
John Hines was very close before the
yeah?
Wild hired him. Like that weekend, I remember I got a call. Someone else got a call. Like, hey, I had the story ready to go. Lambert fired, Hines coming in, but. Yeah, no. Apparently, I think a couple of people reached out to Lou's friends or players that used to play for you that are close to Lou, and they didn't even know. He told nobody about Waugh. So it threw everybody off. Like as Sean said, this guy was never even in our subconscious. Had no idea that he was even thinking about coming back to the NHL. The way he left, he quit on Colorado essentially, like a month or two before training camp. So obviously, that's not a great thing. I don't think teams really were lining up to hire him. Then again, I think he applied for the Canadiens job and the Blue Jackets job. The Blue Jackets chose Babcock over him. We know how that played out. Mistake there. I know some people are saying that the Rangers would have been a perfect fit for him when they went with Laviolette. But he's a beauty. He is you look at practice and the way they're like troops getting ready for war. That's how he has them trained. Everything's a team. He's been energized on the bench. He's screaming at them in practice, all in motivation. He makes them all leave the ice at the same time. During games, he's pacing the bench, yelling at players. I mean, that's what he was like as a player, and that's why he got hired. He needed that passion and fire. The question is, can the Islanders have enough talent to fit what he wants to do? Because that only goes so far. Like today at practice, energy was low, and he ripped on the ice, ripped into them. Like your compete has to be much better. Try to wake him up. Matthew Barzal said he made a mistake on a certain positioning on a drill, and he got called out for it. He loves it. They love the accountability, but they look like Lambert on Saturday a little bit, just with the not lack of effort, but just commitment in the corners and things like that in the practice today on a forecheck drill. While I was not happy with the compete level there and really ripped into them. So the question is, can they respond long enough with that? Or at some point, does the energy that he brings not get matched? And I guess we have time to see if that'll happen.
Yeah, I think that's what Coach Ed's kind of leaning towards. I mean, that was my first inkling when I saw the hire and how intense he could be. And I mean, the young talent around the NHL doesn't seem to respond to that for a long time. But even if he has a short shelf life, you might get 2 or 3 good years out of him, right? So I mean, that you can't ask for much more than that. Most NHL coaches don't have much longer than that anyway.
Yeah, Bars, and also the guys that need to buy into it have bought it. Like Barzal day one, it was like a puppy waiting like for food, like licking its lips and stuff, because I don't think he liked Lane. Every time you talk to Barzal about a change that was made, he would just be like, "Oh, I thought this was right." But he would always go against whatever Lane said. And then when Waugh came here and said, "Hey, we want you to be a leader. We want you to carry the puck and do your thing," Barzal loved. I mean, of course, Barzal is going to love that, and he's played the best hockey we've seen him play under Waugh. That line's been going. The structure's been the structure's there. It's just, again, competing in certain areas they got to get better at. But they look like a brand new team. Even when they were losing, it's like, okay, well, they're still playing well. They're just not, there's a lot of habits they got to break from years of bad habits. So like practice, for example, is not just a lackadaisical practice. You practice like you play. It's cliche, but Waugh generally wants them doing that. And that's something that really wasn't being asked of them, I think, under Lane.
Gotcha. So other than, I guess, Patrick Waugh, obviously you mentioned Horvat, Barzal, that line doing well. I mean, what's another big factor, I guess, for the Islanders' success looking ahead to the playoff picture and the rest of the season, Sean?
Well, I think we got to see Ilya Sorokin to play more like Ilya Sorokin. He struggled a bit under the Lane Lambert regime the earlier parts of this year. I wouldn't say that's an effect of Lane Lambert necessarily, but And the team in front of him obviously contributed to that too. Just a lot of breakdowns down low and in front of him, and a lot of turnovers, a lot of failures to clear the zone. And it's quick to look at Sorokin and say, oh, I gave up this soft goal, or I gave a soft goal here. But they were basically facing the most shots in the league. And eventually you're just going to give up goals the more shots you take on, right? No matter how good you are. And I think Sorokin might have gotten a little bit of a bad rap there. So I think if we see a combination of Patrick Roy's defensive system, keeping pucks away from the net, coupled with the Ilya Sorokin, we all know, what he can be. And I think that's probably the next biggest factor, because the offense has been there from the top guys anyway. Bo Horvat, Matt Barzal, Noah Dobson putting up big points. Brock Nelson, still Brock Nelson. Maybe you'd go down the lineup a little bit and you could use a little more depth scoring for sure. But I mean, I think that really Ilya Sorokin, after just the structure and cleaning up their own game, is going to be what's most important.
And I'll piggyback off that. I think having the defense healthy, that was been the biggest issue all year long. They got Romanov, looks like he'll be back. He missed last game. And if he doesn't play tomorrow, I think he'll be good for the Stadium Series. But Pelech and Pulak, an elite defense pairing, coming back at the same time. This allows Watt to balance out his D pairings a little bit more, play the matchup game. And also just help Sorokin and the goalies, because the tighter the defense is going to play, less high danger chances, things like that. So I think that's huge, is staying healthy, but that never happens with the Islanders. It seems like every year a big player goes out. So they treaded water without those guys. Now that they've been back for about a week, you hopefully see that defense really start to take over and take control.
And one big difference, that we're seeing under Patrick Roy, and we haven't really seen it under Trotz, and we didn't see it under Lambert either, but Stefen's keyed on this a lot too, is Patrick Roy is not afraid to dump minutes on his top players. He'll put them out there for 20, 25 minutes. That's the defense. That's the forwards as well. I mean, you're seeing guys like the fourth line guys when they're healthy, Cal Clutterbuck, Casey Cizikas, Matt Martin. I mean, they used to average maybe close to like 12, 13 minutes a game. Now they're getting maybe, 10 minutes, maybe even less. I know there's a couple games I saw Clutterbuck under 10 minutes. So, and then you see the numbers for Barzal and those guys going up. So he's definitely leaning on his stars in the later, more crucial parts of the game. And so that's definitely something new for Islander country for a while. So I'm curious to see over a long span of time how that's going to work out. But so far it's looked pretty good. And look, you got those guys are in peak shape. They're at the peak of their career too. Dobson, Romanov, young guys, they can log those minutes. So I think it's going to benefit them as well.
You think Pelech and Pulak is an elite pairing? Did I hear that?
They were.
They
were. A couple of years
No,
ago.
I mean, I'm just curious.
You?
I don't watch them every night. I don't watch them every night. I don't really think of them that way. So I'm just curious why. You watch them every game. What's your perspective on that? Calling them elite,
I would say more times than not over the course of their time together, the answer is yes. But it's fair to put it into question, because they've definitely, I mean, this year it's kind of shown most probably, right? Where they've struggled this year when they were both healthy, when they were together. They haven't exactly been on top of their games. They're an elite pairing in a different way, though, because look, neither one of them are putting up 50 points like a guy like Fox or Dobson or anything like that, right? But I
Fox
think on the
80, but yeah.
Okay. Sorry about that. Yeah, 50
You
plus.
said 50. You said 50.
50 or more, cousin. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Got you.
So anyway, on the defensive side of things,
this tailgate's gonna be interesting.
well, not for nothing, guys, but Ed's, little Ed, Coach Ed, everything was fine the other night. I think there's a new element tonight that's kind of changed a little bit. I think that's down in Florida. If you understand what I'm trying to say here. Yeah,
they're soft. What am I going to say? They're coming in like Zibanejad right now.
Well, we'll see how things go on Sunday, but but look, to get to that point is on the defensive side of things, getting that job done, keeping pucks away from the net, keeping the goals against low. They have been elite in that respect. Pulak was hoped to be more of an offensive, defenseman. He's kind of gone the other way. He's more of a defensive guy now, but if you're looking for a pair of guys to keep pucks out of the net, especially in a crucial game, playoff game, critical game, those are the two guys you want out in the ice.
They're getting the top line, opponent line every single game. And again, haven't been the elite when they were under prime Trotz. But since they've come back from injury, they've been the Islanders' best defense pairing. And Pelech's looking like that elite guy again. Pulak doesn't have the shot really anymore. He did score a goal and he hasn't hit the net as much. But like Sean said, Pulak's actually turned into a defensive shutdown guy too. So you have two elite shutdown defenders. They're not going to be a dynamic pairing, but they're elite shutdown defenders when they're playing well. And again, most of this year, they haven't played well since they've been back. They look like they were playing a couple of years ago.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, because I don't really think of either one of those guys as an elite player. So it's just maybe the combination of the. No, I'm not kidding. I'm just saying, like, I don't really think either one of them is like an elite defender or anything like that.
Yeah,
And
it's
I don't
one of
watch
those
every game.
some of its parts type of thing. Sure.
Right,
Yeah.
it makes sense. What do you think the Islanders are going to do at the deadline? I mean, they're kind of in that. They're going to go for it clearly. I mean, Lamoriello is like what 80 or whatever, and they just hired a new coach, so they're not selling, right? So, what do you think they're going to go for here at the deadline? Do you think they're going to bring in a forward, defender? What do you think?
Go ahead,
And
Steph.
what do they have to give?
Well, that's a
Yeah.
good question. It depends what team. If you're going and trading to a team like the Flames that are going to go for it, the Senators that want to make the playoffs last year, they want veteran guys. They don't want prospects right now. They want to win now. That's where the Honors come into play. They don't have prospects. They do have that first-round pick, which Lou loves to throw around. They're definitely not selling unless they're completely out of it. But I think right now I would go for a depth forward on the third line. Oliver Wahlstrom clearly isn't it. Get a guy like Tim we talked about the other day, a guy like Duclair. Just add speed, third line forward. There could go with we also talked about getting that final piece on the defense. You have Pelican Pulak are locked up, I think, through 2028, 29. Dobson's going to get an 8-year deal. Romanov's going to get a long-term deal. For some reason, Scott Mayfield got 7 years, so he's here for that. So you just need a left defenseman to really get that. The dream ad I think we've talked about is Chikrin, long-term deal. Get him. You'll have to get the first-round pick, probably Wahlstrom and probably another pick in prospect. But if they're signing extensions and you have your D locked up, next 5 to 7 years, you don't have to worry about a single guy on that D and just focus on offense. I think that's the way to go. But yeah, I don't think Lou's ever going to sell. He doesn't. I mean, he shouldn't care about the future because he's not going to be here.
He only sells if they plummet down the standings. Like if they're clearly out of it by the time they get to the deadline, maybe he flips a guy like Clutterbuck, right, or something like that because he's a UFA. But even then, like Clutterbuck has been essentially nearly a lifelong Islander here. He's one of their leaders. Like he's probably one of those guys that, Lou would kind of have respect to say, look, if you don't want to go anywhere, don't worry about it. In fact, he did exactly that with Chara and Green in that last year at Barry Trotz when they were out of it. They could have sold those guys that were interested teams, but they didn't want to go anywhere. So he was like, don't worry about it. I'll keep you around. So even if they're in a selling position, they may not even get rid of anybody.
Yeah, because they want to keep that core together. And it's not like they're going to like completely sell off. So like, what's the point? So I saw some rumors that Tarasenko might be in the talks with Lamoriello. Does that hold any weight, Stefen? Did you hear anything about that?
I didn't hear about it now. I know a couple of years ago they were in talks with the Blues, and then he has the surgery on his shoulder, and they're still in talks with the Blues. And obviously he goes to the Rangers, and he goes to Ottawa. I know right now that I think the Rangers might be circling back on him. I don't know. I don't trust to me, like Tarasenko is not a game breaker anymore. I think if the Islanders are going to go and get a guy now, Senators could ask for whatever they want for him. They could say they want a first. Scott Laughton's going to get a first. Brendan Tanev on the Flames, they're asking for a first-round pick. So I think a first round is definitely on the table. I just don't see Tarasenko as that guy anymore. I don't think he's been that guy for a couple of years. The Islanders going to trade their first. It's got to be a guy, one that they want long term. Some of that off the rush could put the puck in the net. I don't think Tarasenko is that guy anymore.
See, coach,
first round picks flying around. It's insane to me, man.
Well, I think first round picks are overvalued. To me, picks and prospects mean nothing if you're a team going for it, and your pick's going to be like after the 10th pick. If it's going to be a top 5 pick, sure. But like for the Islanders and teams that want to win now, if he's not going to help your team in the moment, then get rid of the pick.
Listen, I understand that perspective. I think for certain teams it makes sense, but you got to have first round picks. You got to bring in young players in the salary cap world. You just can't have a team full of guys making $3 to $5 million. It's just not going to be a good enough team. So you have to bring in young talent. I mean, the Rangers, like I said this the other day, 22nd overall, Keandre Miller. That's outside the first 10 picks. He's an NHL defenseman. Gabe Perreault, 23rd overall. Filipino, 21st overall. Schneider was a 20-something overall pick. You got to have those picks. You can't trade it every single year.
But if you could trade your first round pick for a bona fide NHL player, how do you? I mean, again, like getting a guy like Horvat, where the Islanders trade a first, getting Romanov for a first round pick. I mean, these guys are going to be on this team for a very long time, and who knows how those? I mean, again, it's a gamble, complete gamble.
Long term assets makes sense to me. I agree with that. Yeah. If you get a guy like Romanov, he's a 23-year-old defenseman, and you're going to lock him up for 5 years. Yeah, sure. Trade a first round pick for that. That makes sense. You're getting a guaranteed NHL player, right, for 5 years. That makes sense to me. But like Tarasenko for 2 months for a first round pick?
Not.
No, thank you.
No.
No, thank you.
Or
No way.
even
I would-
Duclair. He's a UFA, right?
I don't think he'll
he gets a
cost us.
first rounder.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think flip Wallstrom in a second, maybe, and that's that.
Yeah, I don't.
I'd like Duclair on the Rangers. I said that. Coach doesn't really agree, but I like his speed. I think he'd fit
Yep.
well on the Islanders. Too.
Steph, let me ask you a question. You're throwing around some comments about the Islander players like Wallstrom, Mayfield. Like you said before, like I don't know how he got a 7-year contract, blah, blah, blah. Did any of these players, like curiously, like Tortorella, I love his press conferences because he just shuts down these guys because he's like, did you say that in the paper or whatever? Did any of these guys like shut you down because you say stuff seriously? You know what I
I've never
mean?
had an issue with one player. If I write a bad article about someone or a negative article, I just won't go and talk to them that day. I don't know if they read it. Some guys probably can't read. But like, I don't know. But I'll like, again, I don't usually, I mean, I don't
Whoa,
know.
that's a rough one.
Well, they don't speak English.
Yeah. Like,
Oh.
Lamov read English. I don't know. But no, they've all been great.
I didn't
to
see
me.
that
And
one
again,
coming.
So when you say can't read, you meant to say can't read English, not can't read.
Yeah.
I'm sure you
Well,
can read it
right.
Russian.
Yeah. Like Russian. I covered my ass there. But no.
Some of them are
all
very
them-
undereducated.
yeah, all of them are great. I don't really write negative to the point where it's just critical, and I think they know. I think more so their families see it. Like I had a mom at a practice once, not going to throw the player under the bus, but she came up to me and was like, "Are you so and so?" And I'm like, "Yep." And she goes, "So and so's mom. Be careful what you write."
No
Wow.
way.
That's what I
Wait,
mean.
wait,
I'm
wait.
curious to know.
So then the player got sent to the AHL, and I just 1 week, every time he made a mistake, just ripped him. But no, again, like
That's
I'm
for
not
you,
gonna-
Mom.
Yeah.
I just like
You
it is
got
what
him
it is.
sent
I
down.
don't like. Yeah, I got him sent down, but no, they've all been great. Again, if I write a negative thing, I'll probably tend to not go to them, just because again, if they did read it, then I don't need to have that. But again, most of the guys are really chill. They understand we have jobs to do. If anything, they've been their most outgoing they've been this year. I think since Waz got in here, Matthew Barzal has been a quote machine. A lot of these guys have been a quote machine since Waz got here. But now, I'm trying to think if there's any player that I ever had an issue with. Maybe a post-game question because I do .com, and for .com, I got to ask about certain things that are maybe softball questions or just to get them to spit quote. Like I know what they're going to say, so I think I asked Anders Lee about a turnover. Like he didn't like the question, but I had to ask it because underneath that goal, I had to write what happened. So if they understand, I mean, again, we see them every day. They know we're around. Most of them forget about. Again, most of them probably don't read this stuff anyway. They'd be smart not to get caught up in all that stuff. But no, they're all great. I love them all.
I just can't wait until tomorrow when Stefen goes into the morning skate and Anders Lee looks over at him and says, "So we don't know how to read, huh?"
Russian. There's a lot of Russian
Why'd
players
you
on
tell?
this team.
Stefan, I wanted to read your article, but you know,
I can't.
Ed, make sure you just put the clip on Instagram where he says they don't know how to read. Don't
Yeah,
put
just
this
that.
No
Nah.
context.
I'd
So-
never do,
so I wanna
I'd never
circle-
do that to you, Steph. Don't worry.
Before we let you go, I want to circle back to the rivalry tour we did. We talked a little bit about Pierre Engvall. I don't know if you remember that.
sure.
What are your thoughts now at this point in the year on Engvall's contract and generally? I'm just curious, Sean. I'll start with you.
Yeah, I remember pumping it a little bit. And, you know, listen, I think at the end of the day, and you know, funny enough with the Mayfield contract too, like the length is the length, sure. But I still don't think I think these days, especially with the cap expecting to go up, like it's kind of a drop in the bucket. It's not a crippling contract if, let's say, Mayfield or Engvall, you know, continue to, you know, have struggles here and there, although Mayfield's looked a little better lately. But to key back in on Engvall, he hasn't been putting up the numbers I think we kind of hoped he might have. You know, getting full-time second line duty with Brock Nelson and Kyle Palmieri. He's been sad a couple of times. He's been put up in the press box. And you know, I think he's a guy who, you know, but to be perfectly fair, $3.5 million isn't exactly what a second liner gets paid anyway. He's kind of getting paid where I think expectations would have been from an outsider, right? Maybe a middle to bottom six guy, and maybe he ultimately ends up there. But funny enough, he's going to get some time on the first line now with Bo Horvat and Matt Barzal, and maybe that uncorks him. And he's got the speed. He's shown that, you know, he can put the puck in the net every now and then, but as has been pointed out on our show, and Stefen said it too, if he's not skating north, that's when this guy gets into trouble. He's a guy who, if he tries to do too much, he takes an extra step, tries to play with the puck a little too much, maybe even try to do a little Matt Barzal impression. and he gets himself hurt, and at least the puck ended up in the Islanders' net a couple times, and that's why he's been benched. But look, I'm still willing to give the guy a shot. I'm certainly not. I don't have a pitchfork out. I don't think the guy needs to be riding pine or anything like that. But maybe he's not going to be a 40-50 player that maybe we kind of hoped he could have been playing on a second line role.
Yeah, and again, like Sean said,
good point on the cap going up. Sorry, Stefen. You make a good point on the cap going up. That helps a little bit.
Yeah.
Obviously the term, the years was to get the AAV on as much as possible, but he's not a guy that's there for points. Like Sean said, he's going north. He's a transitioner. It'll be interesting to see how he plays with Barzal, because I spoke to him about it today. I said to Watt, you need him to he's not transitioning anymore. That's Barzal's job. So do you need him to go to the open area, crash the net more? And he goes, yeah, that's what he has to do. But all he has to do is just make quicker decisions. He holds onto the puck that extra 2 seconds, 1 second, gets stripped, or he tries to do something creative where he doesn't have to just play the basic cocky. That's all we need him to do. He's fast. He doesn't hit. He has a long reach. So, again, I think this is a huge opportunity for him for sure. I think the contract, again, for every contract, you got to judge it when it's over. If they win a cup with Engvall or they win a cup with Horvat, and maybe they're not the best players over their 8 years or 7 years, but they win a cup, it's all worth it. And every player plays a role in a cup-winning team. So I think what Engvall does is needed. He just has to be more consistent with his decision-making.
Yeah, I like that. All right, let's talk about the tailgate again and talk about the bus rides. What you got going on with that? I saw that post. That's an interesting thing. You got a bunch of fans going?
The bus is full. The bus is full. We might have 2 spots left. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It filled up real nice. The response has been great ever since it's been put out on social media. Definitely a credit to Ed and you guys over there and just getting the word out, and people have been responding really well. I mean, we're looking at over 100 people showing up at this thing at the very least. It's going to be a lot of fun. Donnie at Blue Line Deli and Bagels is going to be providing the food. It's going to be amazing. He does an excellent job. Can't say enough about him and the deli over there. We're going to have plenty of fun, games, trivia, raffles, prizes, giveaways. I know Ed's working hard in Little Ed's workshop, putting stuff together for Sunday. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And look, you get a big group of great people together. I mean, we joked about this the other night on our show, just saying how it's funny how you get an Islander Ranger fan, group tailgate here, right? When do you really see that happening? But, it's all about the people, right? It's all about just bringing good people and good folks who love hockey together. And that's what we have here. And I'm super excited about it. I can't believe it's less than a week away, and I'm jonesing for it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, a lot of work. We put in a lot of work to do it. So thank you for helping us out. I mean, it was definitely a team effort. And we've never done something like this before. We're definitely looking forward to it. I mean, Coach Ed and I, we've all tailgated a bunch. But in terms of for the show and doing something with you guys, I mean, it's kind of surreal. It's going to be a lot of fun. I don't want to say we were nervous. We weren't getting enough people, but the turnout has been very overwhelming and very exciting. So really looking forward to meeting everybody. Yes, the bus is full. So the bus leaving from RJ Daniels and Rockville Center is completely full. So I apologize, or I don't know. I can't really apologize for that. It's a good problem to have.
Next year we'll have a fleet.
Yeah, next year we'll have to get 2 buses.
The tailgate's not full.
The tailgate will never be full.
Come one, come all. Yeah.
The tailgate will never be full. We'll have plenty of food, plenty of non-alcoholic and alcoholic drinks. Shoot us a message. We're charging $25 for that. All you can eat, all you can drink. Like Sean said, supplied by Blue Line Deli and Bagel. Tons of 4-foot heroes, side salads, things like that. All the Long Island specialties.
Right.
We're gonna
bagels.
eat and drink like kings.
If you give me an extra $50, Stefen will take you into the Islanders locker room after the game.
Yeah, I need the money.
Ed, I don't think they're letting you anywhere near any locker room on Sunday. The way you're talking tonight, pal. Sorry, that ship has sailed.
Yeah,
I didn't say I was going. I said whoever, they give me $50.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, as long as I'm getting the $50 beforehand, then
yeah. Well, Stefen will be working most of the time, but hopefully you'll be able to make an appearance too, buddy. But all of us will be out. All of us will be out there. We're really looking forward to meeting everybody, and I think that pretty much covers it. I mean, with the fee, you're also going to get a free koozie. I got my Rangers Ed podcast koozie right here. Check it out on YouTube.
There's also a much better looking Hockey Night New York koozie that we're going to have available as well. So don't worry.
Also made by me, so whatever. Either I guess I had to make the Islanders ones too. It's a little tough. I think
the logo's a little crooked on that one, Ed. How'd that happen?
Yeah, I made those a little skewed just to make it known. For real though, we are super excited. So anyone who wants to come out, Like I said, we're super excited to meet everyone, have a good time. Tons of raffles, prizes, giveaways, like Sean said, and going to document the whole thing and put together a lot of content. So definitely come out.
Yes, indeed.
And
Yeah,
what
looking
else do we
forward
have
to it, boys.
the night? What else do we have the night before? Cousin Ed's coming out for his first outdoor game with the Rangers.
Wow.
do it.
Putting on the skates,
Let's
buddy?
do it. Oh yeah, let's
Yeah.
go.
Is that right?
I'm ready. I'm
Okay.
ready.
All right, I'll be
Yeah.
keeping an eye out for you on the ice there, pal.
So the night
Yeah, keep
before,
my head up.
the night
Full
before
contact.
this Saturday,
Gotta wear my
yeah,
cup.
night before this Saturday, 9:30 p.m. Marjorie Post outdoor rink, Rangers Ed podcast versus Hockey Night in New York. We got a few spots left, so if you guys want to play, you're welcome to play. If you don't want to play, you're welcome to come and take a look, check us out, and maybe next time you decide to play or just cheer us on. Plenty of room for that. So anyone who wants to come out and check it out.
Stefen,
So-
don't bring any ringers to your connections. I don't want Darius Kasparaitis to show up or something.
Oh man, that
No,
would
he'll
also-
wear
Well, he
Rangers.
played for the
That's
Rangers
better
in the
to wear
alumni
Rangers
game,
jersey,
so
yeah.
you know,
Yeah, but
he goes back
if you
and
bring
forth.
him, he ain't playing for us.
Yeah.
I'm
So we're
not
going to be
friendly about
enemies Saturday night, back to friends for the tailgate Sunday morning, enemies for the outdoor game at MetLife, and then we're going to try to be friends again for the bus ride home afterwards. So
Yeah.
everyone out there behave themselves, all Ranger Islander fans. We're just here to have a good time.
That's right.
So yeah.
Yeah, for real. I'm just busting chops. You gotta make it fun. I hope you guys know. Of
course.
No, Ed, I'm gunning for you on Saturday, man. That's it. The
That's
line
it.
has been thrown in the sand. It's all
Cornhole.
over.
Big cornhole match. Shawnee versus
There we
Cousin
go.
Ed.
I like that.
I got
go.
big elbow pads. I'm ready. Let's do it.
Sounds good.
All right, boys. Thanks for joining us. I'm looking forward to this weekend.
Always a
And,
great.
we'll see the
It's gonna be
standings
so
by
fun.
then. It's gonna be fun.
All right,
Thank you,
fellas.
guys.
Thanks a lot. Take care.
Thanks, guys.
Great
Appreciate
stuff.
it. Have a
Thanks,
good one.
guys.
Love you
Thanks for
guys.
joining
See you
us.
later.
Can't wait for that, man. It's gonna be fun. You gotta razz him a little bit, guys. Come on, I'm the only one doing it.
I got to talk to Sean all day long.
You're
I've been
too
sitting at the
friendly.
tailgate. I've been talking to him, texting him. How am I supposed to mix in some
Coach is like,
trash talking that?
I'm a
I-
huge
I
fan
don't-
of Sean, so it's tough.
Yeah, I like them both. They're awesome, but you gotta razz them a little. It's the way it is.
Yeah.
They're on our show. They didn't razz you when you went on?
No, actually, not really. So
Wow.
they keep
I guess I'm
they keep it
unprofessional.
friendly. Well, maybe when the standings flip, maybe when the Islanders, maybe
Right,
it
right.
starts to balance out a little bit. Right now, I don't know. You can't really compare Adam Fox to Pulik and Pelech, right? So
Yeah,
It's
he's
hard-
at
it's
50
hard.
points for Fox. Come on. How's that me razzing him? I'm just correcting him.
They were
like
they threw out the word elite a little too much.
tossing that word around.
Yeah.
yeah. No, I
Oh,
get what they're
man.
saying. The sum of the parts, maybe. I don't watch Pelech and Pulik every game, so I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and say they're wrong, but neither of those players is an elite player. But anyway,
No, it sounds like if
they
they were
know-
on the Rangers,
they know
would
what they're
be
talking
Little
about.
Ed and Coach Ed favorites.
no, listen, they know what they're talking about, and they're great guys, and I really appreciate them coming on. I'm looking forward to hanging out with them this weekend, both on the ice
Yeah.
and at the tailgate. So it's gonna be
It's
a
really
great
gonna be a lot of
time.
fun.
Make sure you guys join us if you're going to the game. Find us for the tailgate. $25, all you could eat, all you could drink. Right? Let's do it.
Yep, like we said. I mean, thank you so much to everyone who already bought a ticket. We got 50 people on the bus, and we got 25 Ranger fans just for the tailgate so far, and counting. Some people are still getting back to me. So yeah, like Sean said, we're gonna have between Ranger and Islander fans 100+ people. So you're gonna get a chance to have a great time, eat some good food, and play some games and win some merch. And I'm really just looking forward to it. It's gonna be a blast.
Yeah, for real. All right, let's move on. Let's get into our stars of the week.
We didn't let Coach Ed say anything about the tailgate, Coach. You want to add anything before we go into the stars of the week?
I'm just excited
muted.
because the weather looks like it's going to be tolerable, and that's going to make it a lot more fun, to be honest with you.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
it is looking like it's going to be like 35 to 40 and sunny, but Coach Ed is bringing a fire pit. So if anyone is a little worried about being too cold out there, I don't think it's going to be too bad. So you could always just stand next to the fire and enjoy yourself and have a good time. So weather's looking great.
Plus, we're going to have that great tailgating barbecue on the back of the truck. We'll be able to fire that up for some heat if we need to.
Absolutely.
Anything's better than City Field.
Oh my God.
10 degrees or whatever.
10 degrees. Yeah, I was telling Sean when we were in studio that the cooler was actually keeping the beers warm at City Field.
Right.
We took it out of the cooler, cracked it, and it froze immediately. That was crazy. So that's not going to be the case this time, I don't think. So fingers crossed for some decent weather, but not too warm, of course. We don't want any ice issues. So guys, let's get into it.
Up on my screen. All right. Sorry. Let's do our offensive player of the week. We'll start with Coach Ed.
Tough one. These 3 games, right? We're including the Colorado game. We said, right?
Cuz did say that. Yeah.
Yeah, you can.
Oh, I forgot about that.
We didn't do that.
I forgot about that. All right, I don't know if we're going to change it.
Respectfully,
I'm not changing.
the good part is that the scoring has been spread around. So it's a little difficult to pick that clear-cut offensive guy. It's usually Panarin all over the place. I'm going to go with Laffy. I feel like he's buzzing around. He got the goal. He's had a lot of opportunities, so that means he's been in the right place. Well, he had the goal against Colorado, right?
The OT
Colorado,
winner?
yeah, Colorado OT winner, and then also one against Chicago.
So
right?
I'm going with Laffy for sure. Like I said, he's been thriving with that line. I think he's been playing with some confidence, and he's getting a lot of grade A chances, putting a couple in there, including that overtime winner.
Yeah.
I'm piggybacking with Laffy as well.
I went with Kreider. I think, Kreider in the past, Kreider, hasn't really gotten a lot of assists, right? So he's been at this point in the year, 25 goals, 12 assists, right? So I'm looking at Kreider and, he's getting primary assists. He's making plays. I think he's almost 50-50 on goals and assists this year. So I've just been really impressed with Kreider in the last week or so. He's been all over the score sheet. So I went with Kreider, but I like the Laffy pick, honestly. If I included the Colorado game in the offense, I didn't do it in offensive player of the week, then I probably would have picked Laffy too, but I'm sticking with Kreider. Mikey, who you got?
Muted. VC. Mikey Produci's got Jimmy VC.
Yeah, I'm going with Jimmy V, man. I really do. He's got 11 goals on the season. He just plays his role. He knows what he's doing. I mean, I was joking with Cuz the other day. I think he's got the second best shot on the team behind Panarin. So, Jimmy V.
The key word is joking. All right, Jimmy VC from Mikey Produces. Big game from him against Tampa. All right, defensive player of the week, Little Ed. We'll start with you. Who's your defensive player of the week?
I'm going back with Foxy. I think his game is just continuing uphill there. He's getting a little not aggressive, but more physical in the defensive zone. I think he's playing very well defensively, which is sometimes I pick on him a little bit with that. So I think he's definitely playing on both sides of the ice recently. So wanted to give him some love.
I went with Quick. I'm just, 2 wins against Colorado and Tampa and just outstanding in both games. So I'm sticking with Quick for defensive player of the week. Coach, who you got? Mikey also Quick.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't show my board.
Yeah, I'm not going with Quick for defensive player. I don't like that. I don't like putting the goalie as defensive player of the week.
Okay.
So who we got?
It was another tough pick. I mean, to me, there's no clear-cut guy. Trouba was out for the 2 games, right?
Yep. No, just Colorado.
That's why I think you have to give it to Quick, because defensively, who's really playing well?
Well,
boys, you want me to spoil the end of the game, or you don't want to hide the score from you? Who wants to?
I'd like to watch the game if I could.
You're not going to watch it, even if I know.
I am going to watch it. I am going to watch it. I don't know the score other than 1-0 in the second.
I'm saying, if you knew the score, would you not watch it?
I'd rather not know the score.
All right, so I won't tell you. Go ahead.
Move on.
I'm going to go with Fox as well. It was a tough pick, but I like Fox. He's been again, I'm big on what you do without the puck, and I think he's in his zone now. He's reading plays well. He's making interceptions. He's, not overly physical, which we're not going to get out of him, and he's in the right places very often.
Yeah. Yeah, Fox has been good. So 2 for Fox and 2 for Quick. Let's go to the key contributor award. I kind of showed it by accident before. I'm going to just start it off. I went with Mikey's offensive player of the week, Jimmy Vesey, who has been outstanding. Again, he continues to play well in a bottom 6 role. 2 goals against the Lightning. He starts us off with that beautiful backhand goal in that game. So I thought that was a big goal, breaking through against Vasilevsky first. Instead of Tampa breaking through against Quick first. I thought that was a huge goal, and he's my key contributor.
I went with Johnny B for, I guess, very similar reasons. We talked about him enough before, so
we got to get Oscar.
Johnny.
Got to get Oscar to get you a Hartford Johnny Brodzinski.
I want
nice
it bad.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted, but then Girardi played for Wolfpack too, so I think that'd be a good jersey.
Ooh.
You have a Girardi jersey.
Yeah, but a Dan Girardi Wolfpack jersey?
Nah, Johnny B, you get the C
number 45. Yeah.
You get the C on it?
I'll get a home and away.
Mikey, what do you got?
I'm going with Laffy Taffy as my key contributor for all the reasons Little Ed and Coach gave him offensive.
All right, Coach.
I'm going with Quickie on that one. I love the pick. I love the VC pick. The thing that I love about VC is the fact that he came into the league highly touted offensively, and after his career is almost over, he's found his role, shows the offense when he can, and knows what he needs to do. And I just think that's phenomenal as a maturity of a player. But I'm going with Quick. Obviously, big wins. He's there when we need him, and that's very big to hold until Igor comes back. So back to his stature.
Yeah.
Yep.
I like that. All right, let's get into the highlight play of the week. A lot of choices. Here. Little Ed, what you got for your highlight play in these 3 games?
I went with the Laffy one-timer goal against the Blackhawks. Been saying it for a while now. A big left-handed shot by Laffy. I think he has a very underrated shot, and playing the right wing, I think he should use that to his advantage, and he did the other night. It's a beautiful play all around, but to be able to one-time it from that sharp angle, tried to put it right through the back of the net, didn't take anything for granted. Just a beautiful play, and he's slowly solidifying himself as my favorite forward.
Yeah, he's really fun to watch, and I saw that play live. I was in right next to the right of the goaltender, where the Rangers shot twice. So I got a really good view of that.
Theo took an awesome video of it. She
was just filming random plays, and that one she happened to film the whole play when they scored, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was a great view. I think I'm going to post that one.
And it was just an incredible play all around, starting with Panarin. He comes into the corner, takes the puck up to the blue line, finds Keandre, a little dish. Keandre goes to the backhand, dish across, and Laffy with the finish. Had a great view of it. The goalie, he put it up over the goalie as the goalie came across. It was really a nice shot. He kind of flubbed it a little. I will say it wasn't like a clean one-timer, but he put it in the spot where, the goalie wasn't, which is how you score. So,
and that's actually the play. That's actually the play we talked about on Coach's Corner last week.
It is, yep. And it was a big it was a big goal too, because they were losing 1-0 at the time, and can't lose to Chicago, so getting it tied up quick and being live. So I'm with you, Ed. Mikey, what do you got?
I'm giving it to Jimmy's thread the needle backhand.
How did I know? How did I just wrote it?
I'm on the Jimmy B bad bandwagon 100%. That might Oscar get it ready.
He might get 20 goals.
That might be next.
He's up to like 11 goals now. He could get to close to 20, 17, 18, something like that. Coach, what do you got?
Are we doing any broadcast banter? Because in the Chicago game with the goalie out, Sam goes, "It might be Jimmy VC time."
He likes to empty netters.
That's a good banter.
Anyway, I'm going with the Fox pass down to Kreider, which I thought was atypical Adam Fox, where he just holds on to it, toe drags, fakes the shot,
Patience.
dishes it down. I mean, talk about the Blackhawks puck watching. When was someone going to come and get Fox? I mean,
That
he
was
did
a
like
clown.
3 movies.
That was like a circus play. The guy's pushing
Yeah,
the other guy off the ice. Fox comes in. The guy goes down to block the shot, lays down. The goalie comes across, spreads his leg out. And Fox has still got the puck. He's not doing anything. He's just like standing there. Everyone's moving, and then he's like, dude.
And Kreider's just got his stick down. And
Yeah.
Sam Rosen's like, all he had to do was hold his stick there. What a play by Fox. Oh,
It's
man.
true. Kreider always has a stick down, though. I'll give him credit.
No, he knows. He's got to, he got to give them credit for that. I thought that was a pretty crazy. That was like a Harlem Globetrotter type play.
It really was hilarious. All right, let's get into Coach Ed's copyright Doghouse Award, sponsored by Suiter's Sweet Treats. Got to change that graphic, right? It's code EdPod now, no 23 anymore, right? It's EdPod.
Yep.
I remember that from last week. 10% off your order, code EdPod for your free Doghouse cookie as well. Check them out, suitersweettreats.net. The cookies are awesome. You could also, if you really like the cookies, you can put them in a nice little display. What is that frame called? Shadow box?
Shadow box.
Yeah, you put the little, yes, ask little Ed. He told me what the spray was. I went to Home Depot, picked it up, sprayed the cookies, and they're still looking good in there in the shadow box. So you can even keep them as like a souvenir if you like them.
Forgot to mention before, the Suiter sisters sent, I think the count was 83 Stadium Series themed cookies are heading my way for the tailgate to be given out, raffled off, you name it. So
just
as
keep
always,
one aside and spray it for me.
As always, the generosity coming from the Tennessee Suiter sisters is unmatched. So thank you very much, Megan and Michelle, for doing that. And looking forward to sharing your talents with all of our fans, 100+ people. So
for sure. For sure. Thank you. And check them out, suitersweettreats.net or Suiters Sweet Treats on Instagram. Coach Ed, last week, this is your award. We always start with you. Last week, you had Keandre Miller and Igor Shesterkin. This is episode 111. We didn't do Stars of the Week last week. Miller and Shesterkin in the doghouse. Is Miller out of the doghouse? He's still in the doghouse. Keandre.
A long reach of Keandre Miller. Fans, head on over to YouTube to check out Coach Ed's handmade doghouse
From
the workshop.
I still can't believe you put the shingles on like that. It's so funny. And what about Igor? Is he out?
Igor's out because he got the win against Chicago, even though, like you said, I thought they hung him out to dry a little bit at the end. I saw the compete level on Igor a lot better. He tried to make those saves. Like, it wasn't like he was just going through the motions, in my opinion, the eye test. But Keandre, like Eddie keeps saying, he's just not, I don't know. I know this game tonight didn't count. I watched the first period. You didn't hear Keandre's name called until 12 minutes in the first period. And I just feel that with his ability defensively, offensively, his name should, when he's on the ice, his name should be being called on a regular basis by the announcers. That's just a telltale sign, in my opinion, that these things aren't happening when he's out there.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you. Look, last week I had Miller and Igor in. I actually took Miller out. I thought he was much better against Colorado. I think he was, he's physical in that game. He got a little mean, which you never see from him. I thought he played pretty well against Chicago. He made a mistake on the tying goal. We'll get into that in the coach's corner, but overall, I took him out. I mean, look, to me, it's progress, and that's the idea of getting out of the doghouse. But he's not playing up to capabilities, so I can't really criticize you.
That's what I'm getting at. I mean, is he a liability out there? I'm not going to throw him under the bus like Steph was throwing Mayfield under the bus. But you know,
You pick on Steph so much.
I just want more. You know, he's got that. I wish,
From Steph or from Keandre?
That's funny. Well,
I don't know.
I
I think if you're going to write something about a player, you should interview him the next day. I think that's a cop out. Personally, I didn't want to.
No, I don't think so. I think it's the right thing to do. It's respect.
I don't know.
Respect for the player. But anyway,
whatever.
So anyway, I took Miller out, but I left Igor in. I disagree with you. And I put Zibanejad in, even with the OT winner. He gets the number one star of that game.
That's crazy.
For the OT winner.
He
was not the number one star of that game. I'm hoping that gets him going and he starts putting the puck in the net, but he's got like his last even strength goal or his last 5-on-5 goal was in like mid-December. We talked about it earlier. I said earlier his defense has been good. So this isn't about that, but he's not scoring, and it's just not good enough for me. So I put him in even with the overtime winner, and I left Igor in because honestly, even with the breakdowns in the third period, I agree with you. They hung him out to dry. Like I want him to shut that door. I want him to make that one save and win that game in regulation and not even have to deal with overtime against the Blackhawks. And he didn't do it. So maybe he'll be out next week. Who knows? But for now, I left him in this week. Little Ed. Last episode we did this. You had Miller, Shesterkin, and Zibanejad in the doghouse. Where are we at with those guys?
Taking Shesterkin out. I think he had a decent game against Chicago, so let's give him some confidence moving down the stretch here. Zibanejad, the overtime game winner, take him out for that too, even though I agree with everything you said. But Miller's definitely staying in for me for all the reasons that Coach Ed just said, so no reason to harp on it any longer.
Mikey, last episode you had Miller, Shesterkin, Zibanejad, and Kreider in the doghouse. It was a packed house. If you're Airbnb-ing that thing out, man, you're making buco bucks.
Kreider's out. He checked out. Miller's 100% staying in. And I'm going to give Igor and Mika each 1 foot in the doghouse. I just need to see a little more.
Almost there. Almost
I like
there.
The 1 foot. That's a Coach Ed special, 1 foot out. Coach, I'm surprised you didn't put the whole power play in the doghouse. They're like 0 for the last 20 or something.
Yeah, it's a little rough. They mixed it up a little bit, I saw.
Yeah. All right. So Coach Ed's got Keandre Miller in the doghouse. Let's see if he can get out next week. Mikey, hit us with the trivia.
The trivia, it's time to throw it over to Mikey P with your Rangers Ed 150, the fastest 150 seconds in the National Hockey Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Rangers Ed 150. We've officially entered the back end of the NHL regular season, and teams are going to start making those playoff pushes. Quick bit of news before we take a stroll around the league. We found out that the 2025 NHL Winter Classic will be held at Wrigley Field in Chicago between the St. Louis Blues and the Chicago Blackhawks. So super excited for more Connor Bedard. Winter Classic with 2 bottom feeders. Should be a great game. Enough of that. Out west in the Pacific Division, the Canucks, Golden Knights, Oilers, and Kings hold on to those top 4 spots in the division, followed by Calgary, Seattle, Anaheim, and the lowly San Jose Sharks. Aiden Hill returned from his lower body injury he sustained in early December and has won all 4 of his starts for Vegas since his return. Vegas is a different team with Hill between the pipes, so look for them to challenge Vancouver for that number 1 spot over the next few weeks. After winning only 2 of 14 games, the LA Kings have finally found some signs of life with Rittich in between the pipes and wins in their last 2 contests, while Edmonton, on the other hand, has lost 2 of their last 3 after blasting out a quick 16-game win streak, also against most of the league's bottom feeders. Further east in the Central Division, Dallas, Colorado, and Winnipeg are your division leaders, with the Jets having a small slump before the All-Star break due to the absence of Mark Scheifele. Dallas has been on fire since Ottinger returned from a lower body injury in mid-January, and they're posting a 7-2-1 record through their last 10. While on the other side of the coin, Colorado and Winnipeg have both put up 4-5-1 through their last 10, with Colorado dropping their last 3 straight and Nathan MacKinnon pointless in those 3 games. Officially back east in the Atlantic Division, no change to your top 4, with Boston, Florida, Tampa, and Toronto holding on to those spots, but Detroit is tied for points with the Leafs. So depending on how the Leafs get on with the game in hand, you could be seeing the Wings up in 4th place by the end of the week. Boston, Toronto, and Tampa all stumbled a bit out of the All-Star break, dropping 2 of 3, while the Ottawa Senators have quietly been getting themselves together at the bottom of the table and have put together a quick 3-game win streak and are 6-2-2 through their last 10. Maybe a little late for the Sens, but watch out down the road as this team could play spoiler in some important games for teams with playoff prospects. Finally, in the Metro Division, the Rangers, Hurricanes, and Flyers are your division leaders, followed by the Islanders, Devils, Capitals, Penguins, and Columbus Blue Jackets. The Rangers and Flyers both seem to be on track with 3 straight wins since the All-Star break, while the Devils, Penguins, and Capitals have all come up short in 2 out of 3 tries. Outside of the top 3, this division has looked absolutely abysmal, especially with no teams out of that top 3 posting even a 500 record through their last 10. If this trend stays on its current trajectory, we will not see any but the top 3 teams of the Metro Division in the playoffs. We've got 3 games for the Rangers this week. First off, we have Calgary tonight at home. Flames have been rolling since the Lindholm deal, so watch out for them. Then we got Montreal at home on Thursday, followed by the Big One Stadium Series Sunday against the New York Islanders. Make sure you tune in for some great hockey, and until next week, this has been your 150.
Gotta love Mikey P. Although I can't wait till he's doing this and the Bruins aren't good. It's gonna be really fun. We might be waiting.
Is that gonna happen?
I don't know. All right.
Yeah. Hold on. That Rangers upcoming schedule is brought to you by Sorrento's. Sorrento's of Long Beach on the West End. Grab your game day meal, custom pizza pies, Italian deli, Parm Heroes, chicken vodka heroes, you name it. All the good stuff. And they have a full Italian dessert deli next door as well. Not a dessert deli, dessert cafe.
Dessert deli.
Dessert deli.
My mouth is water.
Yeah, we'll be heading over to Sorrento's this Saturday with Cousin Ed to finally give him a taste of good old Sorrento's, and make sure you order from them for all your game day meals, and you won't be disappointed.
Yeah, looking forward to it. All right, let's go into the trivia, Mikey. What do you got?
So big shout out to Mike on Instagram, fan_of_New York Rangers. Reached out to me.
Yep. Mike is my card buddy from Connecticut, so shout out to Mike.
Yes. He reached out to me and gave me a really good trivia question that I don't think any of you are going to guess.
Okay.
So we're going to go for it. I need a number, and it's got to be exact, okay? No closest to. How many players who were drafted number 1 in the NHL draft have played for the New York Rangers?
Oh my God, that's ridiculous.
Wow.
Wait, is that drafted in the first round?
Think about this. Yeah, I need more time to think about this.
Number 1 overall. How many players who were drafted number 1 overall in the NHL draft have played for the New York Rangers?
Not necessarily drafted by the Rangers. They just had to be drafted first overall ever.
All right.
Gotcha.
Correct.
I went with the little Ed.
14. That's a lot.
I'm going with, I got the number 4 in there. I'm going with 4.
I went with 4 as well.
Do 4. So nobody is right.
Damn. What do you got?
The answer is 10.
10.
Oh, that was close.
10
Look, I'm
number
thinking
1.
They had Alexander Daig there for a minute. They had what's his name? They had Lindros. They had
Gretzky.
Oh, I forgot Lindros.
No, Gretzky wasn't drafted. They had
Oh no.
Nash,
They came over from the.
Lafreniere.
That's 4.
Right. So I'm thinking, I'm like,
Is
at 30
Gabrick? Is
seconds-
Gabrick number one?
No.
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 Yeah, I mean, I was thinking I got like 4. So in the 30 seconds, I'm like, there's going to be a bunch more that I'm not thinking of. I didn't have enough time. So
Patrick
I went up.
Kane.
Oh shit!
That's 5. Kane is
Yeah.
5.
Who else?
What else? Just around them all.
Roman Hammerlick.
Hammerlick.
Yeah.
Yep.
You got Brian Lawton. Doug
Wouldn't have got
Wickenheiser.
Wouldn't have
Guy
got that.
Lafleur.
Guy Lafleur.
Guy Lafleur.
Wow.
That's
10.
not 10, is it?
Yeah, that was 5
I think
more.
you're missing one.
Yeah, you're missing one. That's 9.
You said Lindros. You said
Lindros,
Dago.
Laffy, Daig, and Nash.
Brian Berard. Brian Berard.
Brian Berard. Yeah, Brian Berard. He was first
Wow.
overall. Damn. Roman Hammerlick. Jeez. I was
Some of
like,
those
there's going to be a
players you
bunch of those
drafted-
guys.
He
Yeah.
was first overall.
He was, yeah.
Who?
Some of those names, I was like, what?
Yeah, I wouldn't have got
Gotta be
Lawton
older.
or Wickenhauser or whatever his name
Yeah,
is.
who the hell are those guys?
Kane is an obvious one. Jeez. How did we miss
Yeah.
that?
Well, yeah, Mike hit me up on Instagram, asked me for Mikey Produci's Instagram so he could send him a question. No, he did not
Love it.
give me the question ahead of time. But yes, fans, if you have any trivia questions for Mikey, definitely send them our way.
Yes,
Yeah, that was a
please.
good one. Good
We love
question.
it.
Great
question. Tough one. All
Hey,
right.
Did you happen to tell Cousin? Cuz, did you listen to the Islanders podcast that night?
No, I was in Chicago. I didn't listen to it. And today
They
I was
have
a
the call.
crazy
They have
day.
the call-ins on the live show. The questions.
Yeah.
3 of the 4 people were from our podcast.
Yeah, shout out to Gaz and Sebastian
Gaz.
for throwing over those questions on their Questions Bruin segment on Hockey Night in New York. So
Yeah, I
we had
love
a
those
lot
guys.
of
They always pump me
Yeah.
up on Instagram, liking all my stories and stuff. It makes me feel good.
they're the best. So shout out to our loyal fans out there. Thank you so much. And Sebastian will be at the tailgate for sure, all the way from Germany. So looking
Wow.
forward to
All right,
that.
cool.
That is
looking forward to
awesome.
meeting you, man. Yeah, it's gonna be
for
fun.
sure. So
All
guys,
right, so we got the Flames game tonight. We'll cover that either in the next. I don't know if we're gonna do a stadium. We'll see. We'll see how we cover the stadium series. But Flames game tonight, and they play. You said Thursday night, right?
Thursday night against Montreal, and then the Stadium Series game Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, so a light week, couple days off in between games should be good. Hopefully, they keep climbing the standings and keep the winning streak going. Thank you to our sponsors. Again, you guys keep this podcast going. We really appreciate you guys, and we appreciate the fans listening. Make sure you guys share this podcast with other Ranger fans. It means a lot to us that we actually have fans and we get recognized at games, and it's cool. But we really do this for fun, and you guys make it worthwhile to keep going and keep doing it. Because if we didn't have anyone listening, what would be the point? We can just have a conference call and just call it a day, right? So
we can go back to
otherwise
just texting all day
Otherwise,
long.
it's just saying useless names and adding ski on the end.
Yeah. Exactly. So thank you guys, and I hope to see a bunch of you out at the tailgate on Sunday. And looking forward to it. It's going to be a great time.
Yeah, for sure.
Don't forget about that special edition Coach's Corner. It's going to be dropping on Wednesday, fans.
Yep. Special edition Coach's Corner going to be exclusively on YouTube Wednesday morning at some point. Definitely check that out. And don't forget to click that subscribe button. 150 subscribers, we're going to be giving away a free Rangers Ed t-shirt, coasters, and stickers. And if we have any leftover koozies from the tailgate, I'll throw in one of those as well. So 150 subscribers, randomly selected, we'll get a free t-shirt. So get those number up.
It might be a Hockey Night in New York one, but we'll give it to you.
All right. Thanks
Love
a
you
lot
guys.
to Bella Italian Marble and Old Country Ceramic Tile.
Yep.
For our sponsors.
They'll be
Can't do it without
sponsoring the
you guys
Coach's
either.
Corner for sure.
All right, boys. Good episode. Love you guys.
Love you
Love
guys.
you guys. Have a good night.
Later.